Jordan Love is going to be the guy.
I think if the Vikings still had Kirk Cousins, they would be an absolute, way to make the playoffs. But you don't. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get from your quarterback. I mean, he can have a game where you're like, wow, this is, this guy makes some Patrick Mahomes like plays, and then you can have some games where it's like, what the hell is he doing? So,
Right.
um, but yeah, like you said, I mean, the Packers, they're coming on strong. This is the same thing that they did last year with Aaron Rodgers. They had a losing record at the midpoint of the season. They had to rattle off a bunch of games, and it came down to Week 17 against the Lions. Winning you're in, and they lost, and Seahawks also won or whatever it was, so that the Lions ended up missing it too. But
Yeah.
staying in the NFC North, after watching the Lions play the Bears, and by the skin of their teeth getting that at the end of the game, which they absolutely, if the Bears knew what they were doing or could close out a game, that's a W. And then they lost to the Packers on Thanksgiving. So, that's 2 games in a row they could have lost. They lost, to the Packers. So are you concerned with the Detroit Lions at all?
I am concerned that the Lions are getting complacent. I am concerned that they're getting full, right? They are 8-3. They are a top team. I believe like they're second or third in the NFC playoff picture right now. But they kind of went on a stretch where they thought they could just like skate through, right? When they played the Ravens and they played the Chargers and the Bears, and they're just kind of just skating through. This is the issue that you have with the Detroit Lions, right? Is like they are playing like a team that has been there and done that. Dan Campbell has never been to the playoffs. Many of these Detroit players have never been to the playoffs. They are acting like they can flip a switch and get hot at any point of the time. And when you look at the Lions' schedule moving forward, they do play the Saints. A Saints team that is still, I still think they're still first in the NFC South, if I'm not mistaken. But
They're tied, but they lost to Atlanta yesterday, so Atlanta's got the tiebreaker right now. But they play again Week 17, so it could come down to that game.
So basically, like at any point in time, the Saints can get hot again and be a Super Bowl contender, like many people thought they were earlier in the season. And then they play a Broncos team that's up and coming, right? They've won 5 in a row. And then the Vikings, right? They have won 5 in a row at one point in the season. And then they play the Cowboys. It would not surprise me if the Lions get a stretch where they lose 2 or 3, 4 games in a row. They lose to the Packers, Saints, Bears, and Broncos in the next 4 weeks. It would not surprise me one bit. But that would be a blessing in disguise for them. Now, if they rattle off, wins like over the Vikings and the Cowboys and the Broncos, I think they're a first round exit, no matter who they play. Just because, like I said, I think they're satisfied of being just in the talk, right? Like they don't seem hungry. They don't seem. I mean, obviously Thanksgiving 11 o'clock game sucks, right? But that game, they just seem like they're like wore out, like it almost seemed like. Jim says Detroit had it. They're losing it. They better find it. Very, very true. John says it's Goff. He's been looking like he's been shaving points. Oh my God. Did you hear this story, Hoffy? So my dad is a huge Detroit Lions fan, right? I believe it was when they were playing the Chicago Bears, when they were down like 14 points or 12 or like 12 points. There is a story out there that Jared Goff was shaving points because those 3 interceptions that he threw versus the Bears, they're right at him, like right at the Bears defenders. And people are trying to pull straws out of a hat, and they're thinking that Jared Goff was shaving points. Like, this is like some longest yard shit, right? Like, come on, guys. They were down 12 points. There was no way they were shaving points to the Chicago Bears. Jesus, get out of here with that crap.
Yeah, fans want him investigated for it.
Yeah, I was like,
we got an NBA Tim Donahue or whatever the guy's ref was.
Like my dad and I got into like a heated argument about it. I'm like, look, shut your damn mouth. There's no freaking rigging or point shaving. Of course, like my dad was being a master troll that he is. But I was like, man, get the hell out of here. Ant says, in the past 2 games, Loves has thrown 5 touchdowns and no picks. Hopefully he can keep it up because the beginning of the season, he was throwing a lot of picks. He was also forcing the ball a lot. Jordan Love was trying to live in Aaron Rodgers' shadow, right? And I actually saw some stat where they actually have the same exact winning percentage as starters, right? So Jordan Love just needs to get out of Brett Favre's shadow, out of Aaron Rodgers' shadow, and be his own man. But Hoffy, that's going to be it for today's show, man. Hour flies by when you're having fun. Got to get little man off the bus. Cindy thinks she needs to go eat breakfast with her friends. Sheesh, get out of here with that crap. Who do you got tonight? Browns or Vikings?
It's not the Browns tonight.
Or sorry, Bears Vikings. I'm sorry, Bears Vikings.
I want to pick an upset and go with the Bears, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to go with the Vikings.
You know, I am going to take the upset, and I do like the Bears. I think Justin Fields is going to play at an MVP level.
I like it. I do
out.
like it. I'm glad you have some balls because I don't.